What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the shovel. Today we're going to do a little shovel talk. It's Wednesday, towards the end of July, and it has been so hot. I don't know what you guys are doing out there. I'm not doing a whole lot. Been doing a little bit of boating and fishing and stuff, my normals. If I can throw some history in there, I do. So digging in this stuff so miserable. Places that are a little easier to dig in, but I got a lot of prospects, man. A lot of prospects to go do. Today on Facebook, Butch Holcomb, I think he shared a post of a guy who got basically bit by a tick and got really sick, and I believe he's still sick, and maybe he's recovering. I got my own story about it. In the early 90s, I was digging one of my favorite places, the old dump here. And you know, we did it as kids and on up until I was about, I don't know, 35 or 40. And it was always kind of just a cool thing, because where I live, it was kind of normal. It wasn't out of the round be digging in ditches. Oh, you probably the same way. But I remember specifically, I went by myself one day, and I used to dig trenches, and I'd come back every couple of weeks, especially if we have a lot of rain here. It would wash all the balls outside the trench. You wouldn't really have to do a whole lot, and I just keep up with it, and that's how I did it. I'd gone digging. It actually was in April, and I started feeling bad. Now, I was a field engineer on a job in Charleston, on Charleston Air Force Base at the time. And for about a week and a half, I felt bad. I felt like I had the flu, but it was going to go away, one of those type things. Well, I went to work, and I was just sick. So my boss at the time said, "Hey man, maybe you need to go to the doctor." I said, "That's a good idea." Basically, feeling nauseous, terrible headaches, elbows and knees, all my joints hurt terribly. Very physically fit guy. I was feeling bad. Well, went in, they admitted me. Had high fever, and I had blood work that was not good. So I had just had a brand new child, a little boy. You know, that kind of thing. Trying to strive to grow and have a family. And man, I got sick. So immediately admitted me, and I ended up going through all these tests, and I got worse as I was in there. My full stay was about 2 weeks, but my recovery was over 6 months. In South Carolina, nobody knew much about Lyme disease. I certainly didn't know anything about it. I've been a land surveyor for 42 years now. I've had thousands of ticks on me, and only took one little small seed tick. And I remember picking it off, is the funny thing, still to this day. And it made me very sick. So I was in the hospital. I could not control anything I did. I could not talk. I could not think straight. I was bedbound. It was terrible. I remember they thought I had something called spinal meningitis, and they told me that my doctor, which had been my doctor for years, told me that it was deadly. And next thing I know, the preacher and my mother, my family was in there, and it was very scary. By then I was pretty much out of it, you know, just looking, wondering what they're talking about probably. And maybe a day or two later, the doctor, you know, of course they were keeping up with it, but he came in and said, I remember looking up, and he said, "You're not gonna die. We believe you have symptoms from the organism of a tick." I don't believe anybody in my part of the South Carolina, which was rural kind of at the time, knew anything about it. And I know he consulted other people, and he came in and said, "Look, we're gonna get you started on some," turned out to be doxycycline and some other things. So I spent the next few days or so getting flushed out with all this medicine. At the same time, I had no energy. I could not stand up on my own. My thought process was gone. When I say thought process, I literally mean I couldn't add 2 plus 2. I didn't know who my family was. I didn't know who I was. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever been through. And when I thought about it, it totally upset me just now. So I was getting better, but I had no energy. I couldn't stand up on my own. I had to pretty much have help with everything. Well, couldn't go to work. So your family's going to suffer there, you know, with bills. My wife had a good job, but it was still very tough to get through. And I remember she tried so hard to bear with me. And I was nursed. I mean, seriously. So I started getting better, but how I could tell I was getting better is I could sleep or lay down for 4 hours and stand up for 30 minutes. I fainted all the time because I was such a go-getter. Go out and do this. I had dog pens, I had all kinds of stuff. Man, I had responsibilities. And I shouldn't have been trying, but I would faint. And I fainted a few times. I fainted on an elevator. I lost over 40 pounds. The fainting lasted about 3 months. I thank God above for keeping me around, and I'd rather have Lyme disease than other things. I thought I was getting better enough to do these things, and I wasn't. Long story short, you can bet yourself right now, and I got more experience than most people. I was around before this crap came out, and we didn't use anything. Pick your poison, okay, because it is poison as far as I'm concerned. But you better have it on or you'll die. Deep woods or regular off, I don't care what kind of brand it is, but any kind of deep, it's going to eat anything plastic up. What do you think it's going to do to your skin? It's going to eat you up. That's why they say put it on your clothes. Unfortunately, a lot of us like to wear shorts. We like to do things. I'd work out in the woods, whatever. I don't always have long pants and dressed out for all this crap. I got my thermocell on for those mosquitoes, and I spray those good spots for the ticks. Daggum red. Take care of yourself. Hobbies are fun. They're great to do. You guys already know. But man, you seriously have to be careful about it. Don't learn like I did. I don't even think I had anything on that day. I had shorts on, was digging it. It's April, South Carolina low country. Still kind of cool at night, you wouldn't even think. Don't put yourself in that position. But that's a PSA, true story for me. Shovel facts. It was a very terrible time. I've only heard of one person, and I just saw it tonight, that had the same symptoms as I had. Great share, Butch. Jerked my heart on that one because, man, it was upsetting for me. I just remember how hard it was on my family. And as much as I love to dig and play outside, what I've always done, there really does come a time to slow down and watch what you're doing. Yeah, I knew it all. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Don't sweat all night like I like to sit outside and hang out and sit here and sweat. My wife's always like, why don't you come in the air conditioning? I don't know. I need to, though. I kind of complain about the heat all the time. But on a serious note, folks, take care of yourselves. Spray down, watch what you're doing, go where you go, but be very careful. Remember, this can be deadly. Not everybody will get it, but it just might be you next time. We'll see you next weekend, and thanks for watching the Shovel PSA tonight.